want to be a leader in apocalypse technology.
Elon Musk wants Tesla to be the leader in apocalypse technology. Cybertruck is a great example of it. It's bulletproof, made out of stainless steel.
The door panels of the car are the 300 series stainless steel, and it's so tough that it's bulletproof to a handgun. When the apocalypse comes, you'll be glad it's bulletproof.
What if Tesla decided to make a CyberCabin? That's what we're going to talk about right now.
This is badass and super cool.
I'm going to show you the dream CyberCabin using all the technology that Tesla is making available or will make available. And then I'm going to take you through the reality of how difficult it might be to make the CyberCabin and what the real options are. And in the end, you can help. You can help build the CyberCabin, and if you help build the CyberCabin, you get to stay there. You get to visit. It's not yours for the apocalypse, but if you want to visit for a day, or if you give enough maybe for a week, it's there for you. It has great access to fishing, hunting, hiking, kayaking, and more. I've been planning to build an off-grid apocalypse technology cabin, which I'm calling the CyberCabin, or the Apocalypse Cabin. My plan is to use Tesla solar panels, Tesla Powerwall, Tesla HVAC if it's available in time, and of course my Cybertruck. In my dreams, the cabin will be made of the same 3mm thick stainless steel that makes Cybertruck bulletproof.
Do you want your truck to be bulletproof or not?
So what's the vision? The vision is an off-grid apocalypse technology starting with a stainless steel ring, the same kind of ring or rings that are used in stacking Starship. Put a geodesic dome on top of it, put solar panels on the geodesic dome. The solar panels would be facing south to maximize the solar output and not waste money on the north face. Tesla Powerwalls, Tesla HVAC, and get there with my Cybertruck. I already have the land. I bought an acre near a big lake that has great fishing, great boating. It's great for kayaking. That's about a mile from the lot. The lot is off a dirt road, and it's a terrible dirt road. It's really bad. I'm not comfortable going there until I have an all-wheel drive vehicle like my dual-motor Cybertruck coming next year. It's a very remote location, but it is near Sebring, Florida. The lot is 1 acre. It's 150 feet by 300 feet. That means on the diagonal, I can set up a 100-yard shooting range. The vision that I have in mind of the stainless steel ring or rings stacked up, along with the geodesic dome on top, is probably going to be too expensive and too difficult to pull off. If I raise enough money from enough people supporting me, your contributions on Patreon will count towards that, so please check out my Patreon in the description below. If I raise enough support from Patreon, and I'll give the details of how that's going to work at the end, then I will be able to pursue this vision and actually try to make the CyberCabin with the stainless steel rings. It is doable, it's just hard. The challenge is the cost, the architecture to make it work, and getting the materials there on this terrible dirt road. I've looked at a number of approaches. One idea is to make the road better. That would cost some money. And I've tried to reach out to neighboring property owners to see if they would chip in on that, and no one's responded. I looked at Quonset huts. Quonset hut is a very inexpensive form of steel construction, and it's something you can do yourself. The problem with Quonset huts is it's very hard to make them work once you build them. It's easy to build them, but then the inside is difficult. It's not really laid out to make it easy to insulate. The space is not ideal. I'm thinking once the CyberCabin is built, and I'm up there on a semi-regular basis, I will probably build a Quonset hut without insulation, without anything special, just to use for storage. That's where I would keep kayaks. That's where I would keep equipment for the shooting range. That's where I would keep fishing gear, that type of thing. I looked at doing concrete blocks. The concrete block advantage is it's easier to bring the materials in. The labor cost of building a concrete block structure would be very high. I looked at doing container homes. It's a very popular topic. You get a shipping container and you drop a few of them on the property. And they're hard to deliver, again, because of the terrible road. You need to be able to get a tractor trailer to the property, and that's just not feasible. I'm leaning towards building a standard steel building. The plans are straightforward. It's easy to get approval for them. They're designed for the wind. They're fairly inexpensive. They're not as cheap as Quonset huts, but they're still fairly inexpensive to build and to buy. They're strong, they're sturdy, and they're ideal for solar panels. Putting solar panels on the roof is going to be very straightforward. I looked at doing something with a single slope roof. That's challenging with wind. It is doable, and then you would be able to get more solar, but the solar area that will be on top of the roof of a standard steel building is plenty for the amount of electricity that's going to be needed for this cabin. So I'm going to start building the CyberCabin in 2021. And it's going to be the apocalypse cabin. It's going to be the getaway. I am hoping that Tesla HVAC will be available. I am planning to put 2 rows of Tesla solar panels on the roof. The idea is to make something that you can get away. You don't need to be on the grid. It's an escape. It's in the middle of nowhere. If society collapses, no one's going to come looking for you on this property because it's in the middle of nowhere. It's not on a main road. It's not on a side road. It's on a dirt road off a dirt road. And no one's going to come looking for you. But you're going to have electricity. We're going to have Starlink. It's all going to be accessible. And if you have a 4-wheel drive, you'll be able to borrow the kayak or bring your own kayak or go bass fishing. There's a lot of bass fishing on the lake nearby. Lake Istokpoga is right there. Huge lake, gorgeous lake. So here's the way you can support it. If you support this channel on Patreon, links in the description below, if your contributions add up to more than $100 by the time it's ready, then that would get you the right to spend 1 night in the CyberCabin. And think of all the legalese. These things could change. The CyberCabin might never get built. There's all kinds of things that could get in the way of this. But the plan is, and society could collapse. Once the society collapses, it's not available. The plan is through the end of if we build it in 2021, through the end of 2022, anyone who has supported this channel on Patreon at over $100 gets a night in the CyberCabin. And if your support adds up to $500, then you get a week in the CyberCabin. And yes, if you do $200, you get 2 nights in the CyberCabin. It's not close to any cities and it's not close to the beach, but lots of great nature things to do in the area near Sebring, Florida, like I said. The dream with the geodesic dome is as the sun rises in the east and goes over CyberCabin, it is shining on some of the panels at full strength all day. It probably doesn't matter that much, and with a good slope on the roof, you're going to get plenty of sun on those panels, and it's going to work out great. And it's a lot easier to put solar panels on a rectangular shaped roof than it is on a curved roof. So I think that's one of the big hurdles with the CyberCabin concept. So the idea is that the south-facing side has little or no windows and maximizes the solar energy generated from the solar panels facing south. And the north-facing side has windows. You can look out on the beautiful nature area. This lot is, beautiful nature area. And I should mention, this lot, I've seen bears on the lot. I know there are wild pigs that are in the area. There's all kinds of wildlife. There's hunting opportunities. And the vision is that there would be a second floor that you walk in and you have this big circular area with a bathroom, of course, and a kitchen area. Basically, you'd have a wide open area. And then there's a stairway. There's a stairway that goes up to the second floor, and the second floor is about half the area of the ground floor. And you're shielded from the sun by the solar panels, basically, and you have this gorgeous view to the north, looking out of the open space in the windows in the geodesic dome that are facing north. So it's a beautiful concept. Whether we'll be able to execute it is a whole nother challenge. And when we execute it, it probably won't look exactly like this. The main doors to the space are on either side, east and west. French doors or sliding doors on the north side to walk out to a nice patio. The steel building advantage of it, number one, is it's just really straightforward, and there's a lot of companies that are available that will do the plans, provide the materials, and I did find a company that does build steel buildings very close by in Sebring. So having a company like that come through and build it, and then it's very easy to design. There's a lot of flexibility in how you build it in terms of length and width and height and the slope of the roof. You want the slope of the roof to be about 30 to 40 degrees to optimize the angle of the sun for Florida, to maximize the sun in the summer, because your primary concern is air conditioning. That is going to be your biggest use of electricity, is air conditioning. And we're going to have to insulate the inside of the building. And there's issues with steel buildings that they sweat, so you have to insulate to make sure that the cold air on the inside doesn't interact with the warm humid air on the outside to cause the steel to sweat. But it's very easy to configure and lay out. The process of building this involves pouring some concrete for a footing and a floor. It also involves building the structure. You're going to need some kind of plumbing option. We're off grid, so you're not going to be plugging into the sewer. You're going to need some kind of water option. I'm imagining either a septic tank and a septic field or a composting toilet. And then I'm not sure what we're doing with the gray water, but these things are solvable. Part of my plan is to go meet with the building officer in the county and make sure I'm doing everything right. And this is all coming. I've got a lot of time. I don't expect to start building until the middle of 2021, but that's the plan. I don't plan on using the Tesla solar roof because a steel building is very inexpensive and it comes with a steel roof. The idea of solar roof is you're replacing fancy roof tiles with the solar roof tiles, and they're comparable in price. But the steel roof of a steel building is very inexpensive. So just standard Tesla solar panels or other solar panels will work just fine. They will cost a lot less money and makes it easier to build this. My plan is to spend about $50,000 on this cabin. Obviously, if I raise a lot more money through Patreon, I might spend more and go for something more interesting. And I'm building this, if I don't raise a single penny on Patreon, I'm building this myself anyway. This is something I can afford to do, but additional money can help pursue more aggressive options. And my plan is to make videos of this along the way to show what we're building and to show the incorporation of the apocalypse technologies to make this a better off-grid facility and to incorporate Tesla technology and SpaceX technology as much as possible. A couple years ago, Tesla did hint at Tesla homes with a Tesla tiny house that they drove around Australia. I don't think they were seriously planning to do houses. One thing to talk about is how all this can come together. So you've got the solar panels on the roof. You've got the Powerwall storing the energy that's generated by the solar panels. Then you've got the HVAC. Use the heat pump from the Model Y or something like it. You create a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system for the house that is powered by the solar panels and the Powerwalls.
The home HVAC. Maybe we'll start working on that next year. Man, you could really make a way better home HVAC system that's really quiet and super efficient, a way better filter, for particles. We've already developed that for the car. The heat pump in the Model Y is really pretty spectacular. It's tiny, it's efficient, it has to last for 15 years. It's got to work in all kinds of conditions, from the coldest winter to the hottest summer. And they can also stack them. So if you want to, depending upon the size of your house or whatever, how much you need, you can just basically stack them. Just have a very compelling, super efficient home HVAC. And then you can also communicate with the car, and it'll know when you're coming home. So it's I don't need to keep the house cold all day. I just cool it down because I knew you're coming home. It'd be great.
What I envision with this HVAC, and I'll probably make a separate video about this, is it's not just like a refrigerator or an air conditioner that you're using it for. You create a room that's the refrigerated room. And the HVAC system would be able to refrigerate that room to whatever temperature you want. And you could power your hot water heater with the HVAC system. Because all it is exchanging heat from one system to another. So you'd be able to power the hot water heater. You'd be able to heat the home when it's cold. You might be able to heat your oven with it. You might be able to use the heat from the heat pump to heat your dryer on your laundry system. I'm not sure how extensive it's possible to do that, but that's one of the things I want to investigate is if we can use heat pump technology, ideally Tesla heat pump technology, to become more innovative in how we do heating and cooling to maximize what we can do with that solar power. And of course, the Cybertruck will be powered by the solar panels on the roof. So what do you think of the CyberCabin idea? Please let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to help, please support this project on Patreon. Please support this channel on Patreon. Again, a link in the comments below. I want to thank my current Patreons. Keep in mind, if you contribute, let's say $5 a month, which is the most common level that people contribute, that's $60 a year. By the time the CyberCabin is done, you would have reached $100. If you contributed $10 a month, that'll probably get you to 2 nights. And if you go to $20 or $25 a month or more, that's probably going to get you a week. Coming up, I'm going to do some videos figuring out how to value Tesla, going 1 year at a time for each video, looking at different numbers, playing with different variables to try to see what's a good estimate for what Tesla might be worth starting in 2022, 2023, and 2024, and maybe beyond. As always, if you like this video, please like it, comment, share it. Please check out my other videos, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.